Hi, my name is Nathan. I go by Peteparker, and I don't usually review any comic books or do video reviews for stuff outside of Marvel. That's where my primary focus is. But I figured I bought it, and I read it, and I liked it, so I might as well review it anyway. This review is going to be about The Walking Dead number 84, written by Robert Kirkman and drawn by Charlie Adlard. So, I am a huge Walking Dead fan. I got on probably around the third or fourth issue, and I've been reading it issue by issue since number 3 until, still reading it, apparently. I went back and bought the first 2 issues as soon as I could, as soon as I realized how awesome this entire series was, which is right around 7 probably. So I'm a big proponent of The Walking Dead. I try to give the first trade out to anybody who hasn't heard of it or has talked to me about it before and hasn't read it, or anybody that I know that enjoyed the TV series but hasn't ever tried out the comic book. It's vastly different than a lot of comic books that are out there, and it's consistently good for 84 issues there. It's really hard to beat, really, out there. So I have really high standards for how The Walking Dead goes and what happens from issue to issue, and it's surprising that it continues to be good all of the time. I did do a written review of one of these issues maybe 5 or 6 issues ago when the characters in The Walking Dead came upon a small group of houses that had walls around it, and it was a kind of a gated community where everybody was living normally on the inside. And at the time, I really didn't like that because it was really obvious, at least to me, maybe it was meant to be that way, I'm sure it was meant to be that way, that it can't last that long, and that these people are fooling themselves into believing that they're safe in this small community, and that just bad things are going to happen from this going back to a normal life. And plus, it was a little boring to read about how these characters interact in a semi-normal life again. I mean, you had kind of a story arc where Rick is going out as a policeman again and calming some domestic abuse, but other than that, it's not as interesting as their survival needs, right? So, in the very last issue, in number 83, here's some huge spoilers about this issue. So, if you're reading this and haven't, or if you're reading this series and haven't read this one, don't listen to this. Go ahead and turn it off. Wait until you're reading this again, as they say. The last issue, Rick's son was shot in the face. That's not good, right? It was a shocking moment. It was an incredible moment. Another one of those, holy crap, I can't believe a kid got shot in the face in this book. Again, Robert Kirkman's showing you that nobody is safe as usual. Everybody that you think is safe. I mean, I was thinking that, along with a lot of other people, I'm sure, that Carl, his son, is going to be the next version of Rick once Rick actually dies or gets caught up somewhere, that we're going to follow Carl on through the rest of the series, right? But then Carl gets shot in the face, and he's missing part of his face when he takes him to the doctor there in the town. The rest of the issue is more or less these characters beating the holy crap out of all of the swarm of zombies that have gotten inside the walls around their area, which is fine, right? I don't think that the drawings that we see, there's a lot of really great character development. You really feel the adrenaline going about this. You really feel the nervousness about Carl being worked on, and is he safe while they're trying to get through this. The whole thing is like, you really feel for the characters that are in there, as usual, right? But I don't think the art showed the vastness of their situation, right? We needed like 1 or 2 shots, maybe just one, of overhead kind of pulled back to where you can see a group of houses, how swarmed these few characters were in the center, to really get an idea of the magnitude of how many zombies were on top of them, right? And how their odds were just unbearable, right? You did get one big scene right here where it shows them kind of wiping the sweat off their brow after the main swarm is taken care of. But still, it's so focused in on these characters, and you see that they're like half calf deep, maybe, but that's like one person, right? So, a few people laying around you would really give that kind of impression. I really wanted to see, like, while their action was happening, how they were really swarmed. And maybe that's from video games, right? The zombie-related video games, you always get an overhead version to see how overwhelming the odds are before you actually overcome them every single time, of course. The only other thing that I thought was really weird was all these characters are swinging away, whatever their weapons are, but they usually have their mouths open, right? And in this one in particular, Rick's got his mouth open, and something's either flying into or out of his mouth. Now, I realize that they've probably figured out at this point that they don't contract it that way or something, right? I don't think it's been specifically mentioned. Bites kill you, and then when you die, you turn into a zombie kind of thing. So they kind of believe that they're all, I think, I don't remember if this is 100% true, but they kind of believe that they're all already have the virus or whatever, and just as soon as they die, they'll become zombies. But still, even with the knowledge that when I'm swinging stuff and I'm getting splatter on my face of nastiness, I will probably shut my eyes a lot, maybe probably shut my mouth a lot, unless I have to have it open, because I can't imagine any of that stuff smelling really great or tasting any better. I was just surprised by how often people's mouths are open while they're hacking away at zombies. I won't spoil the very end of this one, because obviously if you're reading it and you're watching this, then you've read it anyway. But it gives you kind of hope for the rest of the series and for what's going to happen next. And again, it's really awesome. It's really hard to, if you gauge this issue in right coming after 83, which is such a crazy issue, this is still really great, but it's just so hard to compare something that was so mind-blowing, you know? This issue didn't blow your mind, but at the same time, it was so good, and you felt for the characters in every aspect that it's really hard to give it anything but a 5 out of 5. Maybe a 4.5, since the last one was a 5 out of 5. But there you go. Of course, I'll keep buying this. If I can't afford any other comic books ever, then this is the one that I'll be buying. So there you go. You can check out my other reviews if you want at iFanboy and Comic Vine under Pete Parker, and on YouTube under Spidey207, because Pete Parker's taken by some person who doesn't upload anything, which now you'll go look because I mentioned it. So thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time. Talk to you later.